Slideshow. I just want to test the.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, everybody. Okay, this is the Regional Transportation Plan of Sustainable Communities. I can't ever say strategy, strategery. I've been saying that like to joke all the time, and now when it's time to actually say the word, I mess it up every time. Roundtable for Wednesday, February 26, 2025. If you wish to address the committee during the public comment portion of the agenda, click on the reactions at the bottom center of your PC screen, select the hand icon, click the icon to raise hand. Your digital hand will now be raised. Those addressing the committee must state their first and last name and agency for the record. Please turn on your microphone before speaking. To facilitate electronic access, no person shall speak until recognized by the chair. Can we do roll call, please, Denise?
City of Clovis. City of Coalinga. City of Firebaugh. City of Fowler. City of Fresno.
Here.
City of Huron. City of Kerman. City of Kingsburg. City of Mendota. City of Orange Cove. City of Parlier.
Here.
City of Reedley.
Nicole Ziba here.
City of San Joaquin.
Here.
City of Sanger. City of Selma.
Here.
County of Fresno.
Here.
San Joaquin Valley Air Pollution Control District.
Present.
Robert, I got it on the side.
Fresno LAFCO.
Here.
Caltrans District 6.
Here.
City of Fresno Fax.
Here.
Clovis Transit.
Here.
Fresno County Rural Transit Agency.
Here.
PG&E. T-Mobile. Tranquility Resource Conservation District. U.S. Green Building Council.
Present.
Sequoia Riverland Trust. Inspiration Transportation.
Present.
Fresno Cycling Club.
Present.
Dr. Anthony Molina, Public Health Advocate. Self-Help Enterprises. Fresno County EDC. Fresno Chamber of Commerce. Westlands Water District, State Center Community College District, Measure C Citizens Oversight Committee, League of Women's Voters of Fresno, Michelle Roman, Public at Large.
Here.
Paul Marquez, Public at Large.
Present.
Michelle Lopez, Public at Large.
Here.
Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Item 2, new information, approval of minutes for the January 22nd, 2025. Any member comments on this? Any public comment? I'm open for a motion to approve.
Nick Palladino, first and second, to move to approve.
Okay, thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second FCRTA.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Okay, moving on to item B, the 2026 RTP project webcam.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just share my screen. Okay. Yeah, size full screen. Okay. Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Shen Fan, Senior Planner at Fresno Cog. So, based on all the projects submitted to our 2026 RTP couple project, we developed an online map with a dashboard to showing the summaries for the project location and also the detailed information. Today I'll just have a demo to walk you through the this dashboard, and it will be open to public access to review and check the information. So I'll start with refresh this page. So at the beginning, it will show a splash screen, have a brief introduction to this site, and also a note here is a draft map. Is not a final one. There are still some project information we need to verify with local jurisdiction or the project sponsors. So this information here will be keep updating. And if you have any questions or comments for the site, here is my email address. Feel free to contact me if you need more information or find anything need to correct on this web map. And after that, click close, and we'll get into the main page of this dashboard. It's an online dashboard built with ArcGIS Online. So on the top left parts, it's a summary table and chart, and on the top right, there is a interactive map showing all the project locations, and with a legend, the map here is colored by the project type. And on the bottom of this map is a table with detailed project information. So first, let's start with the summaries on the top left part. As you can see here is two summary of the project counts, and another is a project cost in $1,000. And we have three charts. One is a project count by the open to traffic year bar plot, and there's another two charts showing the estimates the sum cost of the project by the project sponsor and also by the project type. For this chart, when you hover on the this plots, you can see the detail cost. If you need that instead of the percentage. And on this interactive map, just a bit. So you can use your mouse to zoom in or zoom out. And there's a small button here that more tools. Okay, that's you can use different space map if you want to have an image base map or use other style of base map to help you better locate that area. You can see there are different shape type of the project. Some are lines, some are points. So there are multiple legend here, but the colors match. And for the summary table, it's showing all the data informations with the agency, the RTP ID, their cost, project type, project title, and the description, and also the open to traffic year. For some project have a very long description, might not able to display in this table. We can hover on it, and then will pop up the full descriptions on it. And the final part is the category selector is at the top right corner of this tool. So one is for the project sponsor, another is for project type. So for example, we click one of these, the project sponsor, it lists all the project sponsor list. By default, it select all. And you can feel free to click and select a few of them. And all the summary table and the summary chart will also update, showing only the information from the filtered project. And you know, use the reset button to back to the default selection for the all sponsor, and it's same to the project type. We have this backend pads, serial maintenance, operation, capacity increasing, trend, and others. For example, we only select the project on the road network, and it will show like this. Also, the project counts and the project costs. The summary only showing these three type of projects. And basically that's all of the demo. Just one information is for some of the transit projects is now able to be mapped at the exact location. There's like a system wide. So if you need to look at the detail for those projects, you can just click the layers and set the polygon to make its visibility open, change its visibility, and it should reflect it. Well, it's maybe need to refresh, but I'll change later. And also another function is when you zoom into one project, for example, you click it. Also, we can see the detailed information pop up on this interactive map. And that's all for this demo. Feel free to let me know if you have any question or suggestion. We will publish the link on our Plan Fresno website, so everyone can visit it. Thank you.
Thank you. Member comments? Yes.
I'm sorry if I did not catch that, but what are you looking to use this for? And is there like an overlay with Cal Environmental screen in there as well? Can you see that?
Yeah, this is just a list of detailed information for all the projects submitted, the transition projects submitted to our 2026 RTP. So that's all the detailed project information. Although we will provide like those information with the table, but it might help people to better understand where it will be located. And it's different with a Collimer screen. That's basically like the demographic or other basic information. This is like for future transportation projects.
And can you see the Cal environmental screen? Is that one of the options that you can select? Have like an overlay as well?
No, right now, but that will be a good suggestion. We can add it actually. Yep.
Any other comments? Yes.
So it does say on their draft project map list, how draft is it, or where are you in the process of the projects itself?
I think right now we're still going through the projects and trying to find any missing information that we will then request the jurisdictions to provide us. So right now, I'd say it's pretty close to the final version that we will finalize this spring. But we claim it draft because, like suggestions that Laura just had, we wanted to get input from our subcommittees in the roundtable in order to tweak this if there's any additional requests for base mapping or any other additions or changes that folks would like to see. But I anticipate this will be finalized this spring, so in the next 2 to 3 months.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, and we will maybe also need to update this map during our project evaluation. Like when we see some map location is different with project description, or there's any like two project overlay with each other, we'll need to check with project sponsor for more detail and correct that.
Yeah, we wanted to provide this in order for the public and for all of our various stakeholders to be able to review the information. And then, yeah, if there is any duplication of projects, that's something we're still going through right now and reviewing and making sure that each project is unique and there's no duplication of projects that were submitted by the jurisdictions.
Okay. Just remember, everyone state your name and your
Right.
agency for the record, so those listening online knows who's speaking.
Tony Molina, Public Health. Where on Plan Fresno shall we look? Is it live yet?
Is no yet.
Oh, okay.
So it's for those online, it is under the roundtable page for this meeting, and we will make sure that we have a link that's also on the main page. I do think it's going to be important that we have this not just on the meeting page.
Yeah, actually, it's already on the plans personal. So just shown here, it's on the RTP roundtable. If you go and go to the main pages and about and RTP roundtable, and it's under today's meetings. There's a 2026 RTP project map draft, and click it to go to the sites.
Any other member comments? Any public comment? Okay, well, this was informational only, so we then will move on to item C, the 2026 RTP revenue sources.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm going to have Denise pull up the presentation. I have a few slides regarding the 2026 RTP revenue sources. First, around the top of the page. Sorry about that. All righty. So, as required by federal transportation law, the RTP shall be fiscally constrained. To meet this requirement, the RTP compares revenue projections for its 20-year planning horizon against all projects submitted during the RTP call for projects. Those projects we just reviewed in that web map. And the adopted program of projects will not exceed a reasonably foreseeable future revenues. The revenue assumptions include revenue estimates for specific government funding programs, local contributions, and tax initiatives. The attached base draft revenue projection lists all reasonably available funding sources, the base year annual funding estimate, the source of that base year funding estimate, and an inflated annual estimate into 2030, and then the lifetime cumulative estimate based on the 2030 dollar estimate. 2030 is used as the starting point for the revenue projections because it is the first, because of the first 4 years of the RTP's planning horizon will be accounted for in the 2025 FTIP Federal Transportation Improvement Program. Now, there are some assumptions that Fresno COG makes in developing our revenue projections. The RTP estimates revenues assume an inflation factor of 2% previously. We're currently reviewing this moving forward. That may change, but historically we've used a 2% inflation factor. Local transportation fund revenues are assumed to be constant throughout the RTP's life. The Surface Transportation Block Grant Program and the Congestion Mitigation and Air Quality Improvement Program will continue or be replaced by similar programs throughout the RTP's life. Federal and state transit funds are assumed to remain at their present levels throughout the plan's life. Projected state and federal highway revenues reflect the average amounts programmed in the STIP, the State Transportation Improvement Program, and are consistent with the CTC adopted 5-year STIP fund estimate. Measure C, Fresno County's local half-cent sales tax for transportation improvements are assumed to be renewed before they expire in 2027. Voters have extended the measure already once in 2006. And then go to the first slide. Just quickly walk through. It's hard to see on the screen. There is an attachment that has the PDF that lays out all these fund estimates, but essentially what we've done is we've looked through all the federal, state, and local funding sources that have been available within Fresno COG's region. We have then identified a funding eligibility by mode, so what that program funds. For example, ATP projects have they fund bike and pedestrian improvements. FTA's programs 5307 and 5310 fund transit improvements. With the Highway Safety Improvement Program has funded road capacity increasing, operations, maintenance, and transit programs in the past. And so through every federal fund, state fund, and local fund, we identify the eligibility by mode. And here we do show a preliminary estimate of those funds. We are also reviewing these fund estimates and going to be making adjustments to these. These were based off the 2% inflation factor, but we're still internally reviewing if that's a sound and reasonable assumption to make moving forward, given the high inflationary period we've experienced since the COVID pandemic. So we are currently reviewing this, but we wanted to provide kind of a base understanding of the potential revenue streams that COG feels will be available for the RTP SCS. And so this information, again, is attached to your agenda and available for review. We anticipate that we will be coming back to our subcommittees, the Roundtable, TTC PAC, and the Policy Board to approve the final revenue estimate projection for the our 2026 RTP SCS later this spring. So anticipating by May that we'll have the final projection ready and approved. So with that, I'm happy to take any comments or questions.
Thank you. Any member comments?
Kumar B. Wilkie here for City of Selma. On the last column or row, in the final version for local funding, will you guys itemize the local funds out? And then two-part question, the developer fees, is that the RTMF, Regional Transportation Mitigation Fees?
Yes. So the developer fees are the RTMF, the Regional Transportation Mitigation Fees. Yeah, we did combine them all in the last cycle of the RTP. We can break these out further. Obviously, they are subject to some change, given that we are currently going to be developing the renewal of Measure C's expenditure plan over the course of this RTP cycle. And so it will be somewhat challenging to provide much more distinct detail, just given that at this point we are unsure of exactly what those expenditure plans are going to look like. So we kind of carry a general estimate assumption here, but this is something we will continue to refine in the development of the projection. And in the local funding stream, there are going to be, so as the scenarios get developed for the SCS side of the project, or of the plan, I should say, we will have several versions of the revenue projection that will outline different assumptions in terms of the outlays towards transit, road capacity increasing, maintenance, and bike and pedestrian. So actually what will be presented later this spring will be several versions of this revenue projection, one for each SCS scenario that is developed here internally at COG with the help of our subcommittees and with this with the roundtable. And so in order to do that, we are going to have to make some assumptions of different pathways that Measure C could go in order to then develop these different funding scenarios. So this is really just like the base level projection or assumptions. But again, when we get closer to developing the final versions of the projections, you'll see several different scenarios here to be developed.
Thank you.
Any other member comments?
Paul.
Yes, go ahead.
Paul Marquez, Public at Large. Appreciate the rundown of the funding sources. I think what would be helpful as we go forward, just visually, is to see a breakdown of local, state, and federal funding, because there's a lot of projects come from different funding sources, and a lot of it takes leveraging. So it kind of shows the importance, I think, of local funding also. So I think that would be visually helpful for us.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you for the comment.
Yes, yeah.
Laura Gromis with USGBC Central California. We see a rapidly changing federal situation. What is your plan to monitor this and draw a conclusion for this planning purpose?
Yeah, it's something we talk about internally quite a bit. There's been a lot of change in the last 4 weeks. So given that the long-term nature of this plan is a 20+ year plan and needing some stability in making assumptions over such a long period, we are going to have to make some baseline assumptions that foresee stability in the programs. Now, that could change, right? Measure C at this point is not extended beyond 2027. And so that is also another big question mark in the plan. So that for this round of the RTP, for the 2026 RTP SCS, we will be making some assumptions of stability within the federal programs. As this plan develops and we see potential changes at this point for the federal programs we show, including FTA and the build, CMAQ, ATP, we have yet to see any full-scale stoppage of those programs. It's been more on some of our planning grants at EPA and other places, but federal highways, FTA, the main transportation funding programs have yet to see those kind of impacts. So we're hopeful that's a sign that those programs will remain stable. But your point is well taken that this could be an issue we need to keep our eye on. At this point, we do need to assume some stability in the programs.
And we'll be back in front of you in 4 years.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes back for the next RTP cycle.
Any other comments? Any comments from the public? Okay. Hearing none, this is informational only. We'll move on to item D, lead for cities. We have Laura and Hillary here.
Hi, everybody. Laura Gromis again with the USGBC Central California. Thank you so much. And most of you guys know me. I lead a local nonprofit here on the ground serving the San Joaquin Valley. We're focused on education, networking, advocacy, and advancing transformative projects. And we are very lucky to be connected to other entities within what I like to call the USGBC universe. And it just happens to be that Stephanie Hallinan and Hillary Venadori plan to be in Fresno on this day where we have our meeting, and we thought we'd take that opportunity to share more with you guys about all the great tools that USGBC has developed. Most of you might be familiar with LEED for buildings. LEED stands for Leadership in Energy and Environmental Design, and it has a long tradition of third-party certifications for buildings. It's the most used worldwide third-party verification system. And Hillary and Stephanie can tell us a little bit more about the programs that we have. So within USGBC, there's different entities. As I said, LEED was developed for buildings, but because buildings are so connected to their communities, and you all know that our organization is doing a lot of programs around transportation, because if we really want to address sustainability, we have to go beyond the building, because everything is in some form connected. And because practitioners all around the United States and worldwide are seeing that connection, USGBC is always coming up with new tools. And so Hillary is going to be our main speaker. She is leading LEED for Cities within USGBC, and she comes from a county planning background. And so she has a lot of experience working with folks like you to advance sustainability in their jurisdictions. And Stephanie is working here for USGBC in California as a main contact person for anybody that is working on any USGBC product. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to the ladies to introduce themselves and
Right.
tell them you a little bit more about LEED for Cities.
Thanks, Laura. We're so happy to be with you, Laura, but also with this committee and to be focused on transportation and sustainable communities. It's the perfect roundtable discussion for us to be involved in. So we're actually going to start. Steph's going to just give a little mini overview on USGBC and some of the things that we're working on as an organization. And then I'll dig into LEED for Cities. I know we have 10 minutes, so we'll get going. Go ahead.
Hi, everyone. Nice to meet you and nice to see you. I'll keep this short. So when you think of US Green Building Council, we really function with 3 branches. So what we sell, the product that we have is certifications and credentialing. But we also provide education and advocacy. So think about that: certifications, education, advocacy. That is where we function at the global level. So I'm the director of California. So anything that is rooted in California, whether it's a project, headquarters, rail, trail, anything that is happening in California, I'm typically the point of contact here. But we do work very closely with what we call our aligned communities. So with Laura in the Central California chapter, Laura is the expert in this area, and we rely heavily on our local chapters to assist us with that. So as you see, LEED is a building certification at the singular level, but you can see on that list there, we have anything from zero waste to free platforms that help you measure data, collect information to give you attainable outputs for how you can progress sustainability. And education, we have in-person events, we have webinars, we work with schools K through 12. And then advocacy, we function at the federal level and the state level. Yesterday, the county had a good question: what is your objective? And honestly, it's just we need everybody that has any interest in sustainability to have a seat at the table. We need your input. We need your information. That helps us get better. We do not exist without the community. So just keep that in mind. Please use us as a resource, as a tool. I live in Santa Cruz, California, so it's just a little pop up through to come visit you all. But I think that probably wraps up the overview, right?
Sure. Well, I'll do her LEED V5 plug, since the next version of the buildings rating system is due to come out this year. It's pretty exciting. So if you are interested in green buildings, a lot of resources will be coming out soon there. So I'm here to talk about the work that goes beyond buildings. So we work at the city, county, and community scale through the rating systems that I've been working on. So that's actually our headquarters in DC, and it's kind of interesting. The building itself is a LEED certified building. The space inside, like our office space, is as well. We're in a business improvement district called the Golden Triangle BID, which is certified as a LEED community. And then the District of Columbia is a LEED certified city. So ideally, we go from the space to the building to the district community level, like all the way out to the jurisdiction with our products and our programs. And I'm not sure, I assume you all know this, but USGBC is a 501c3. We're a nonprofit organization, and we operate globally through a sister organization called GBCI, which is Green Business Certification Institute. So we actually do have staff deployed China and South America, Europe, all around the country, or the world, I mean. So I'm going to really focus on LEED for cities. And when I say cities, I do mean cities, towns, and counties. It's just a mouthful to say all three, but the existing cities rating system was built by and for local governments. So that's what I'm going to concentrate on today. As a regional government, you obviously convene local governments, and we work with COGs, MPOs, and RPCs all around the country as both purveyors and keepers of data, as well as conveners and coordinators of all the local leaders in community. So I'm really happy to be here to share. But I did want to just plug that we do have rating systems for communities. That's new places that are in plan and design, like it could be mixed use development, like even a PUD, as well as things like districts, campuses, neighborhoods, and such. So the whole purpose of the rating system back, I was a county sustainability director in 2008 in Maryland, where I'm from. I live in Tucson now in Pima County, where my husband's from. We've shifted to his side of the world for maybe part 2 of our life. But back then, there were sustainability directors being hired all around the country in all different places. And everyone was asking the question, what is sustainability? How do we measure it? How do we manage it? Like, what is the function of sustainability in local government? And so we really worked collectively as sustainability professionals in local government to build this rating system. And it, at its core, is a framework. It's a roadmap. It really called it our Bible. It's like our way forward. This is what we do. And when we say sustainability in local government, this is what we're talking about. And even today, we have a governance committee that's comprised of local leaders, thought leaders, practitioners at local government, regional government, different forms of government, who are contributing to the evolution of the rating system so that it really evolves based on what's going on the ground. So we've been working globally, but I will say LEED for Cities is concentrated in the US. It started here with the Sustainability Directors Movement and is really stayed strong. We have about 150 certified cities, towns, and counties in the US, many of which have certified multiple times. Broward County, Florida was the first last year to hit their third up. Every 5 years they've certified. I think what's most important is maybe just to sit on the framework and talk about what is this thing, what's in it. So when we talk about measuring and managing sustainability in local government, it really includes a lot of things. It does go beyond our climate action plans and what we're measuring in our greenhouse gas emissions inventories to be very holistic and including the social and economic dimensions, not just the environmental dimensions of sustainability, particularly if you look at the quality of life category. We're addressing social services and infrastructure, public health, environmental justice. We're looking at economic prosperity and jobs. We're looking at public schools and education. So those items don't always make their way through some of these other plans that we work on. So we're really comprehensive. But to just give you an understanding of the framework itself, there's categories at the top. Integrative process, natural systems, transportation and land use is probably a popular category here with the transportation group, water efficiency, energy and emissions, materials and resources, which is like solid waste and circularity, and then the quality of life. We do have an innovation in regional priority categories too, or almost bonus points where you tell us the cool things that you're doing that are above and beyond or outside of the scope of the framework, and those get points too. But anyway, I just wanted to sit here. So there's prerequisites and there's credits. You have to do the prereqs. Well, where COGs tend to come in are the prereqs. So there are 14 indicators that need to be collected and reported on. They're actually put on a platform that we own and operate called ARC, which does a peer-to-peer benchmarking. So when you put your data in for your individual jurisdiction, you'll actually get a score. So when you say, This is our waste generation number, our waste diversion number. You put that in, you'll see how you're doing relative to others that have been in the reference set for the platform. So it's another kind of interesting way to see, like, you might think you're not doing so well, and maybe you are, because maybe no one's doing, like in the waste category, for instance, a lot of folks aren't doing so well. So folks kind of measure up or level up, I guess, around the same. The COG likely has VMT for the region. I'm assuming VMT for per capita. And I think you mentioned you already doing the GHG, obviously through all the planning work. So here in the Fresno County region, I think the COG probably has quite a lot of information that could help individual jurisdictions get through this part pretty quickly. The quality of life category, those indicators they must all come from Census, FBI, and EPA websites. And I think they're still live, hopefully. So anyway, just wanted to sit on that. I don't have time to walk through like credit examples, but I can certainly give examples if anybody sees the framework example that I passed around and wants to ask a question or something when we get to that point. Why are we here in Fresno? So, well, we like Laura. She's very nice. And I've just recently met her, but we wanted to come to Fresno because we really haven't worked here at all. These are the cities and counties in California that have registered or certified in Lead for Cities, and then our USGBC members. And quite frankly, I think it's a very short list for such a big state that's been doing this work for decades. So I've selected California as a priority state for me for this year for my program. In fact, I have priority states across the country. Last year, we went to Texas. Well, I live in Arizona. We went to Arizona just by happenstance. Arizona, Texas, Florida, and Washington State last year for programming, kind of concentrated summits and accelerator work that I'll tell you about. I will mention, because it's interesting, that Florida, a lot of people kind of poo-poo Florida about some of their state politics. But the state has more registered and certified lead cities than any other place in the entire world, actually. They're nearing 40. So like, gosh, that's actually a pretty large percentage of our program. What's happened with places like Broward that were early adopters is that their leadership has brought their municipalities in, and then the kind of competition county by county, municipality by municipality has really grown over the years. So it's an interesting, I think when we were in Washington last year, they were like, why are there so many dots on your Florida map? Because I was showing them a participation map. It's like, it's really grown there due to leadership talking about it and kind of sharing with their peers. So this year we're going obviously to California. Also the other states are Colorado, Iowa, and Massachusetts. And when I say we're going to them, we're coming out and doing physical events. So we did go to San Diego for a summit on Monday. City of San Diego just recently certified, and the county had been very active in the past. So we had some early adopters as well as just some really strong members, strong collaborators to help us get a convening together. We considered having an event, a summit here, a workshop here, but we thought we should really come and just meet people first and see if you'd even want us to have a workshop or a summit. And maybe we come back in 6 months or 9 months or what have you. But we will be also going to Santa Monica, really for like an LA County event. And also USGBC California has their statewide conference in May, and we're going to do a co-located event there. So we'll be coming back to the state later this year if any of you happen to be in those areas. So we go and do these summits. So we get people together. We have panels to bring local leadership to the table and really talk about the work that's happening. And then following the summits and following these events, we host Lead for Cities accelerators. Now, just because we aren't hosting a summit today instead of being here for this meeting, we do want to extend the invitation to any jurisdiction, including the county and including the COG, to participate in our Lead for Cities accelerator that'll be coming up in April. There'll be 3 one-hour phone calls where we'll actually have an intern from Arizona State that's supporting data collection, and we'll be doing some free data work for all of the jurisdictions that participate. But it's really a 101, like introductory to Lead for Cities for anyone that wants to learn more after today. And we'll make that invitation through Laura to this group after the meeting today. That's it. I just wanted to wrap with, we will be, our big global convention, Greenbuild, is in LA. So there's just a lot happening in your state in general, I think, this year with programs. So if any of you make your way to Greenbuild in Los Angeles in November, we have quite a lot of free events, including we can get tickets to the expo hall, passes for you all for free. We do a public sector roundtable and a Lead for City celebration event. So if anyone's making their way down, be sure to let us know and we'll get you all the free passes. That's it.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
On closing, I want to mention we're not trying to sell anybody on anything. This is just a resource to help advance sustainability and put it in a framework that really makes sense from like a management perspective. As you look into sustainability, right, you see it's like a management question. And so through this program, it really brought together practitioners that were working on the ground to develop a tool that can be used to really advance that conversation. And so happy to have Hillary and Stephanie join us here, and very happy to connect with you further as well. If we should have more educational opportunities on the ground here, maybe like a mini summit in 6 months. Please, if you're available, take advantage of that accelerator opportunity, because I think it really will help educate those that participate in what are those steps that are part of the program. And thank you so much for providing that time within this framework for us today to share. And
Thanks, Laura.
Hillary and
Thanks,
Stephanie are
everyone.
available for some short questions, as long as you allow us, Michelle. Thank you.
I'm sure you guys are sticking around after as well, if anybody has to meet with you.
A little bit, but we're gonna have to go to Fresno State because there's a real estate class waiting for us who are on our agenda today. So we've been trying to juggle those things. But please share any questions you have, and also feel free to reach out to me or get their contacts.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you very much for your presentation too. Okay, Measure C update.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. So this, we intend to make a Measure C item, a standing item going forward for all of our committees, at least to the extent possible. And so just to update you on a regular basis about progress with regard to the renewal effort. So this month, we're letting you know that we have begun the meetings with, had at least the initial kickoff meetings with our consultant, the consulting firm DKS, which was awarded 2 of the 4 contracts from last month that the board approved in January. 4 contracts that totaled nearly 1.75 million for the expenditure plan development and renewal effort. DKS is handling the serving as the steering committee facilitator and also the program manager with a $200,000 contract for as the facilitator. And so as part of the kickoff meeting, we spoke with the Kendall Flint, who's going to be the primary point of contact and the direct facilitator for the renewal committee, to talk about expectations and approaches in terms of forming the renewal committee and how it's going to operate. As you may realize, since December, we have been advertising the expression of interest forms for that committee. Actually, I think since before then, but we really started advertising them heavily, marketing them in December for those who might be interested, stakeholders, members of the public who would be interested in sitting on that committee. And to date, we received, I want to say around 15 or 16. And so no selections at this point have been made. We're still mulling those, but the Kendall and her team with DKS have begun soliciting additional members, specifically from the jurisdictions. Some of the interest groups that have expressed interest include the Fresno Cycling Club, the Sequoia Safety Council, Tree Fresno, the Central Valley Community Foundation, the Center for Community Voices at Fresno State, the Tranquility Resource Conservation District, and the Central Labor Council, among multiple others. So Kendall herself is a transportation sales tax veteran, and this is going to be her 7th measure going forward from as far south, I believe, as Orange County to as far north as Placer County, along with a couple of measures also within the San Joaquin Valley. She's pretty well known in the San Joaquin Valley, including measures that she's handled in both Merced and Stanislaus County. So as I mentioned, she has already begun the work, she and her team, of contacting additional stakeholders and stakeholder groups throughout the region to solicit for the committee membership. And we'll continue to conduct research and interviews throughout February and into March with the goal of having the first renewal committee meeting occurring at this point in April. So the goal, of course, is to work toward early consensus on those issues that are considered to be non-controversial for the overall regional good. And the slide that you have on the screen kind of depicts what we envision to be the regular agenda process, the flow of information, if you will, which is, our subcommittees, including this one, RTP committees. I think I should have included the Measure C Oversight Committee would be on that bottom tier as well, feeding information up to a technical committee that is comprised primarily of jurisdictional staff, transit agencies, Caltrans, other partners, who then also feed that information to the renewal committee, which at the same time is getting regular updates from public workshops, and other public outreach efforts that are going on simultaneously out in the field, from focus groups. There's going to be, statistically valid surveying and polling. There's going to be social media, radio ads, a variety of surveys that are going to be conducted as part of all of this. That information then gets fed up the chain through our normal committee process, the TTC, PAC, then the policy board, FCTA, and so forth. And you'll see that information come back down as all of that is shared. So in theory, if you have a recommendation come out of the renewal committee that does not necessarily align, let's say, with the technical committee, that information will be known to the bodies that are above the renewal committee. And then again, that feedback loop, that information loop, that information could be, comments could be fed back down to the renewal committee so that the cycle is completed. And so this is how this is envisioned to work. And like I said, many of you, if you have not already been directly contacted, you may have peers or people in your organization who have or will be contacted, solicited for ideas about who might be good representatives to serve on this renewal committee. So, again, we're looking for stakeholders, primarily among the general public, who can sit on this renewal committee, but who will have the advice of the technical committee most directly, coming to them on a regular basis, with the opportunity for the jurisdictions to present collectively and on an individual basis. So there's going to be a lot of information coming to that renewal committee every meeting, because again, beyond the technical information, they're also going to be hearing what the public thinks in an almost real-time fashion. So with that, this is again just informational at this point, but happy to take any questions or comments.
All right, thank you. Any comments? Okay, any comments from public? Oh, go ahead. Oh, sorry.
Got to think fast. So I see an ATP committee feeding into the technical committee and a SRTS committee. Is that something that's currently existing, or is that a new thing? Or I don't remember.
The Safe Routes to Schools Committee is an ad hoc subcommittee of our board. We actually have a board subcommittee that is focused on safe routes to schools right now.
Okay.
So, but we don't know how much longer that's going to be around, but it is in existence at this time. Yeah.
And the other, the ATP,
Yeah, we have an ATP selection committee, yes.
okay,
Right.
Okay, that,
Right.
that committee.
Yeah,
okay.
this is not actually an exhaustive list of every committee that we have, but it represents especially what's going on right now. And like I said, the intent of this item is to communicate that we will be giving regular updates on a monthly basis to all of these committees as often as they meet and as often as we can.
Okay, great. Thanks
Mhm.
for that.
No, there was another one over
Aaron.
here.
Right.
Aaron, go ahead.
Now, this Measure C committee is like the official Measure C committee, right? But
Yes.
there may be some other ones coming from the public that would be a different one, because if it came from the public, they only have to get 51% of the vote, right?
I'm not
Yeah, so
understanding the
when
question.
Florida Measure C needed 2/3 to pass.
Correct.
Okay. Now, my understanding is there's also another committee that won't be an official committee related to COG or Transportation Authority. That if that may be working on a way to pass a measure with 51%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what you're
unofficial.
referring to, what you're referring to is the potential for a citizens initiative. And
I've understood that as forming.
I don't. So
with,
yeah,
like,
you're ahead of me on that.
Retired people.
I see.
Okay, are working on it. So I'm just giving a different, that's just, so that potentially is another route that's not, wouldn't be a route that anybody from COG or who works for a public agency would be involved with, but
Right.
perhaps community people or retired people could be involved.
Yeah, to clarify, so to your point, the structure that we're proposing here is consistent with the 2/3, approach that has been taken in the past. So the expenditure plan that's being that would be the product of all of these meetings and convenings would be with the intent of a 2/3 plan. Now, what you're referring to is the potential for that then to be shifted into kind of a simple majority, vote. And yeah, that would be beyond, beyond our representation, shall we say, in this manner. So. Yeah.
Any other comments? Anything from the public?
I have a comment. I had my hand raised.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Mayor Beltran, and going back to the discussion about the citizens initiative, that won't be a Measure C. That would be an actual new measure. So it won't be anything compared to the Measure C that it currently exists, because this measure exists from 1986. So whatever initiative is being planned or prepared for, the initiative will be a complete new one. It will not be a Measure C.
Yeah, thank you, Mary Beltran. And yes, that is technically correct. It would not be a continuation legally. It would not be considered, were the scenario that you painted, Aaron, to occur, it would not actually be technically a continuation of the existing Measure C legally.
Yeah, it would be a new tax. That's where the confusion kind of is, where people think it's the existing Measure C. If that would happen, if it happens, it would be a completely new tax, not an existing measure. The existing measure is Measure C that exists from 1986. So whatever initiative starts with the residents and a voter initiative, that would be a completely new tax, not one that's part of Measure C. I just wanted to clarify that.
Thank you, Mayor. Anyone else? Any other hands raised? Okay, anybody from the public? Okay. Hearing none, we will move on to item 3, other items. Any items from staff?
No additional items from staff.
Okay. Items from members? Yes, go ahead.
Hi, Tony Molina, Public Health Advocate. I just wanted to remind everybody or invite them if they are not aware of the Fresno International Transportation Innovation Summit on March 7th at Valdez Hall. All day, one day conference like our previous summit. I want to thank Fresno COG for being a silver sponsor for the summit. And if anybody is not aware of the summit, or you can still register at Fresno Transpo Summit .org and invite everybody. Hope to see everybody there. This year, the focus is going to be on sustainable transportation energy, which includes, of course, electrification, hydrogen, and biofuels. There will be some sessions on active transportation that Laura Groves and is going to be in charge of, and also some on transportation equity that will be kind of beyond the transportation energy aspect. Our keynote speaker is going to be Randall Iwasaki. Some of you may be familiar with Randall's illustrious career. So if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. And we're actually encouraging people to try to. We're hoping for some last minute registration because we're down on registrants this year. So hope you can all.
Can you offer a discount
Yeah.
for public employees?
So, yeah, we're. I'm sure Dr. Tofik could have his arm twisted. He would try to get more people there. So thanks.
Thank you for promoting that, because that's a really good one here for our region. That's for sure.
Yeah, especially apropos now that our sustainable transportation energy dollars are going to be squeezed. And so it's really important for local and regional efforts to try to maintain our momentum in the face of adversity there. So
Absolutely. Anyone else? Okay, I just want to thank Lead for Cities, for your presentation. Thank you for being here. Appreciate that. Okay, at this point, item 4, public presentations. This portion of the meeting is reserved for persons wishing to address the roundtable on items within its jurisdiction, but not on the agenda. Prior to action by the roundtable on any items on the agenda, the public may comment on that item. Anybody here for a public presentation? Oh, good at you, Moses. Okay, seeing none, we will adjourn. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hi. Hey, I think I'm Nicole. Yeah, well, it's one thing. Really, are you aware of the